Hello, my name is Liza Zamudio, and I am currently a senior at UTSA who will be graduating this December in a few weeks from UTSA for the class of 2015. Yay, go Roadrunners! So I'm so very excited. However, I am currently in a multidisciplinary studies senior seminar class, and in this class we had to actually do a project presentation, which is what I'm going to do today. I did research, however, mine is a little bit more different as I wanted to make this a public service announcement as well, not just related to the research, but also related to what's currently going on in our society. My title of my project is called The Other Nightlife in the Realm of Prostitution and Rape of Women, Influenced Partly by Sexual Pornography. Again, as I mentioned, I did my presentation not only over the research, but also more of a public service announcement, hoping to continue to spread the word about the problem of human sex trafficking in relation to prostitution. Human sex trafficking is a very major growing problem in our society, not just here in the United States, but places like Thailand, India, certain areas of Europe, as well as Mexico and Central and South America. It is enormously, hugely a growing problem which has gone global. Prostitution is considered one of the oldest professions out there in the world, outside of trading, for both import and export in business. There are major differences in prostitution. For some women choosing to do this kind of line of work, they work as an escort for an escort service provider, in which case they get paid high-end dollars. And for the other ones, they work a more lower standard, which is mainly the ones standing out on the street corner, waiting to get paid for sex. This is what would be considered free will prostitution. The other type of prostitution is not considered free will at all, but is considered forced prostitution. Basically, it is taking and abducting or luring young girls and women from their families into what is known as human sex trafficking. A lot of people do not know that this term even exists. However, it is becoming very profitable for the ringleader. According to Forbes Woman, this type of work brings in over $32 billion annually and is rated number one over the distribution and selling of illegal drugs. One of the most recent places of sex trafficking that starts and is highly prevalent is not only in men and young boys, but also whole families are getting involved in this. And it is in a small town in Mexico. I will not name this town for certain reasons, but this small town is just southwest of Mexico City, and it was constructed nearly almost entirely of money that was being produced due to sex trafficking alone. Some pornography, a third of the time, is created from young girls and preteens to teenage girls that are not even considered legally able to do pornographic videos here in the United States, which have to be at the age of 18 or older. These poor children get their innocence taken away when it is time for pictures and videos in which they are being raped from the buyer that's creating this video, who has proclaimed them as a sex slave, to selling them out as sex slaves over the internet, which is known as the deep web. We have what is known as the internet, which everybody uses, but then there is also corruption. There's videos that are made like these, as well as the selling of human beings, which is known as the deep dark web. And all the crime that is related to this is in the deep web. These girls are used daily for sex, anywhere from 16 to even 20 times a day. They are considered by most a commodity because they are what is known as reusable. Instead of taking an illegal drug and using it and having to recreate it after it's been used one time and then having to go out and redistribute and sell it again, these girls are reused over and over again, and that's what makes human sex trafficking a more profitable business. Due to this content, I will explain my research in regards to pornography leading to rape, hoping to create also more of a sexual awareness. I took my data from the General Social Survey, otherwise known as GSS for short, from the sex category labeled prostitution, ever having paid for sex, ages 18 and up. And I use this as variable number 1. The second variable I used was also under the category of sex, and it was labeled pornography, materials leading to rape. These were listed as raw percentages that initially started back in 1972 to the year 2006. The difference will be from the prostitution survey, the percentages were not taken until 1991. There is no data from 1972 to 1990 to compare this from on prostitution. I don't know why, but there was nothing available. However, compared to a human sex trafficking going on for a victim, there will never be any kind of data available to the human sex trafficking victim because that kind of data just never gets collected. My two questions that I was trying to get an answer to are: one, does prostitution encourage teenage boys and men to feel that they can sexually make advancements easier without realizing that this could lead to rape? On the rape of women not wanting to work this profession as a prostitute, yes or no? My second question is, if men or teenage boys are seeing pornography as a tool to either utilize it as a learning experience or for just sexual gratification and satisfaction, potentially leading to rape, do they think that this type of viewing can actually cause rape? Yes or no? My experiment, I took my topic and broke each variable down, showing its percentages and numbers for that particular area. For my prostitution area, in regards to paying for sex, there were a total of 19,489.8 men and teenage boys from 1991 to 2006 that answered the question yes or no that they paid for sex. Overall, the greatest number of yeses were 8.8 in 1996 that did in fact pay for sex. As you can see on this graph, unfortunately it's not very good, but the blue is representing the 8.8% and the orange is the other rest of the percentage. And the greatest percentage of no's that did not pay for sex was in 2002 at 92.8%, which is again the orange. On the other variable, which was materials leading to rape, there were a total of 17,798.2 varied ages of males that were surveyed. The greatest percentage of yes was in 1989 at 64.9%, which is in the color blue on this graph. The greatest percentage of no was in 1994 at 47%, which is supposed to be the orange on this graph. In my next part of the experiment, I combined the two variables using prostitution as variable 1 and materials leading to rape as my measure. For this result, I did not get a percentage, but an overall count of yes versus no. My yes was 1400.2, which is the larger bar graph right here on the top. And my no was 1000.3, which is the lower bar graph right here on the bottom. The conclusion of my results to the answers to my questions are both yes. Viewing pornography does lead to rape. And to explain my yes answer on prostitutes, both men and teenage boys at these ages are fully capable and understand and comprehend the actions about what they are about to do in regards to having sex with a female. They do know about what is right from what is wrong. Keep in mind that this would be considered rape because this could be a sex trafficked victim who is prostituting, whether it be for the first time on the streets or just plain prostituting under the careful, watchful eye of a pimp. Even a case of date rape of a girlfriend has a tendency to be triggered from watching pornography. I just want to express that this for me was done as an informative public service announcement once again. In regards to being for sexual awareness of what type of surroundings our society has going on outside our back doors. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my interesting conclusions and my presentation. And have a happy holidays.